Hello first-time leaders and welcome back. Thank you very much for joining me. If you remember, last time we were talking about how to deal with your toxic team members. If you have not seen that session, I will leave the link below here under the video. Just go and watch it. Today we are going to deal with a topic that I believe is a little bit more tricky than that, and that is how to deal with your toxic peers. So by the end of this video, I will tell you 8 steps I believe you should think about if you are working with a toxic peer, toxic coworker, especially because you're a leader now. It means that your toxic coworker is actually a senior member of your management team. So let's get to it. Of course, as always, before we start the session, please go and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Do it right now. I mean, like right now. Click on that little bell that will notify you every time these videos come out. Let's get started. So you have a toxic coworker, not easy, especially as I said, because he or she is actually a senior team member of your company. And if your boss is ignoring this toxic behavior, my friend, you really have to take matters into your own hands, because it means your boss is not going to help you with dealing with this person for whatever reason. It might be that this person is extremely creative. He or she comes out with these fantastic ideas, or they drive amazing results that nobody else can drive. It does not matter. What matters is that you have to protect your own sanity and your own way of working with this person. So let's go into point number 1 in dealing with your toxic coworkers. Point number 1, I know you probably don't want to think about it, but take time and list down the strengths of your toxic coworker. As I said, this is probably the last thing that you want to think about, but I invite you to do that because you're rewiring your brain and you're focusing on something a little bit different than what your brain is just automatically telling you to focus on. And this person for sure, 1,000,000%, must have some strong points because your boss is trying to keep that person in the company. So what is it? What can you learn from them? Really, if they are very creative, can you somehow talk to them about the creative ideas? If they are driving their results, how do they do that? How come they always overachieve the targets that they have? Whatever it is, take the time and list down their positive aspects. Point number 2. So my question to you is, what exactly is it that is driving you nuts about this person? You cannot deal with it and you cannot really rewire your brain and change your reactions or responses to this person if you are not quite clear about what is it that is driving you crazy. So list down, again, don't be generic, don't be vague. Your brain needs to understand what exactly is it that is driving you crazy, as I said. It might be that this person always only talks about himself or herself, and all the results, all the achievements, they always say it was me, me, me. Or maybe they always gossip, or maybe they just stab people in the back. As soon as somebody turns around, they just go bang, stab in the back. So list down what is it that is driving you nuts so that you can start building your little strategy on how am I going to deal with this issue that I'm facing. And that will lead us to point number 3, and that is be mindful of your responses. So once you know and understand why is this person driving you nuts like that, why your adrenaline rises every time he or she speaks in a certain way or behaves in a certain way, once you are mindful of that particular situation, you can respond and you can stop yourself from going crazy, okay? So normally maybe you go and snap back, normally you go and just walk out of the room, whatever your normal reaction is. If you are actually mindful that, okay, this normally really gets me off my balance, then you can stop yourself, you can get aware of your response, and you can act differently. I have done the previous session where I talk about how to respond to different situations. So again, if you have not seen that session, I will leave the link below, go and watch it. And also here I ask you one question. Is this really so important? Is this person really worth so much of your attention? So if you know that he or she every single time comes with the same story, with the same narrative, and you are ready for it, is it really important that you pay so much attention and so you put so much focus on this person's behavior? No, it's not. Trust me. You have got other things to do. You have got your team to deal with. You have got your targets to reach. You have got your job to do. So make sure that you focus your focus somewhere else and not on this personality. So point number 3, be mindful on how you react when the situation arises again. Point number 4 is choose how are you going to communicate with this person. And I know I should not be advising you this, and I should not be talking about this because it's just ridiculous. But as I said as well at the beginning of this session, is that I want to keep this session really real, because this really happens in our corporate companies. So you need to be smarter than that person. You want to be really protecting your own sanity. And so I advise you and recommend to you, choose the best way how to communicate with this person. What is the best way to talk to them? Is it either via email? Is it better to send them an email if you need something and wait for the response? Or is it better to talk to them in the morning, let's say? Are they in a better mood? Or is it better to talk to them after they had their morning coffee? Find the best way when you know they will get the least irritable and their energy will be the least toxic for you. Once again, I know we should not be doing this and we should not be wasting our energy on things like this, but to protect your own energy, your own sanity, as I said, be smarter than that individual and find the best way how to communicate with them. Before we go to the point number 5, do me a favor, please, and leave me a comment below. Just say yes or no to the question, have you dealt with a toxic coworker at your work? Just yes or no, so that I know how many of us are going through the same thing. All right. Point number 5, do not take things personally. I know this is such a simple advice and it's not always easy to do, but you have to realize, really, and especially when you're just starting and when you are a young leader, you want to do the right thing, you want to be engaged, you are passionate, you want to really deliver, and you want to get along with everybody. I understand that, but you have to realize that if you are dealing with a toxic coworker, it's not that he behaves or she behaves the way they are behaving because of you. Whether it's you or whether it's somebody else, it does not matter. These people will behave in the same way. So don't take things personally for your own sake, because it really is not worth it. Focus on your stuff, don't focus and waste your energy on these people. And we are moving to the point number 6. Now here, I will recommend this to you. However, me personally, I'm not quite sure if that is a good recommendation or not a good recommendation. You have to assess that yourself. And that is, try to have a conversation with this individual. In my experience, unfortunately, it never really worked. But if there is just a little ray of hope that this person might actually care about how you feel or how they make you feel, by all means go and try to do that. Just one advice in here, make sure you do not attack them. Okay, that's what you don't want to do that, because it's, you know, the conversation has finished right at the beginning. So just make sure that you try to make them understand how they make you feel in certain situations, and try to ask them about, could they be a little bit more mindful about how they talk, about, I don't know, how they respond to certain situations, how they behave in certain situations, but be sure that you do not attack them, because that is not going to work. So by all means, as I said, if you think that could work, get the courage and go and try to have a conversation. And moving on to the point number 7, get help. Now, I said at the beginning that probably your boss is not going to help you with this situation, because if he or she, your boss, if they see what is going on and they see that the toxic person is actually, you know, having a negative impact on everybody, but they haven't done anything about it because of whatever qualities that this toxic person has, the boss is not going to be the one that is going to help you dealing with the toxic person. So my best advice to you is get an external coach. But do not feel bad, young leader, that you do not know how to deal with this, because this is an extremely draining situation. So do not feel like, oh my God, I can't handle this, I don't know how to deal with this, I should know how to deal with this. No, you should not. It's not your responsibility, and it should not even be a part of your day that you have to deal with this. So if you do need help, it's as simple as that. Call the coach, find the coach and get help. They will help you to deal with it and find the best ways how to deal with toxic people. And we are coming to the last point, which is definitely not the point that I hope you will have to take, and you will have to listen to this last advice from myself. But if you come to the point when you really tried everything, you really try to amend your behavior just to get along with a toxic person, you tried really strongly to focus on different things, but you just cannot take that energy, that is a negative energy that is absorbing you, my friend, it's probably time to think about looking for another job. And it happened to me. And I tell you, what is definitely more important than any job in the world, that is your own health and your own sanity. So if there is a situation that you just cannot take it, you shouldn't, right? None of us should be coming to work and spending 8, 10, 12 hours a day with a person or with people or the environment where we don't feel good. Why should we do that? Life is too short for that. So I hope you will never get to that point, but just in case you are feeling really overwhelmed, think, is your health and well-being more important, or is your job more important? I'll let you to answer that question to yourself. And so we came to the end of this session. I hope that some of these points helped you, and that if you are dealing with toxic coworker, you will find some of the recommendations useful. Please let me know by liking and sharing this video. As always, do not forget to go to my website and subscribe to my newsletter. If you don't know yet, I am sending regular weekly blogs where I share exactly what is going on in my office. I'm sharing my leadership feelings, I'm sharing my leadership stories, but because these blogs are so personal, I only share them with the people that subscribe, as I said, to my newsletter. So the address to my website is on the screen, and I will see you on my website. Thank you once again. I'm looking forward to talking to you next week, because these videos are now coming out every Tuesday, not every second Tuesday. So until then, you have a great day in the office. Bye.